This is Charter Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerantz, and we are in Long Beach today, and we are joined by Khim Teoh, and she is with an inspiring organization. It is called the Academy of Music for the Blind, and I am so glad you reached out to me. You found me through a parent who found my boss, and I'm just glad we all found each other. This organization has been around for how long?
Well, it was founded by my director, Mr. David Pinto, and his wife, Gail. They founded it 12 years ago, and they started with only 5 students at the time.
What prompted them to create this organization?
It's definitely an interesting story.
Please.
And Mr. David Pinto has had a successful career in music.
Okay.
He's a brilliant musician, pianist, composer, and his wife has also a blind daughter.
I see. Not his child. It's his second wife or whatever it may be.
Yes,
right.
And she is a brilliant flautist and
really?
a pianist. And so I think in his career as a musician, he's worked with some famous blind musicians such as Ray Charles, Stevie Wonder.
Right, of course, right.
And so he's created a unique software or a program that helps blind musicians compose music. So to make it in simpler words, it's like GarageBand for blind people. So they can do their composing independently, and they don't have to recite, the traditional way that how musicians compose music. So I think in his experiences working with, blind musicians,
Sure.
and he later on went on to teach. He just found a calling for that. So,
and you found a calling too, apparently.
Yes.
Because you're the assistant director, and clearly it touches your heart. I can tell by the way you talk about it, by the way you write about it in emails. How did you find this academy?
Well, for me, it's also a long story. Growing up in Malaysia, I've always. I was raised by a single mom, so as far as materialistic means, we didn't have much.
Right.
But definitely the 2 things that have changed my life tremendously and enriched me is books and music. Oh. So I always felt that when I could, if I'm ever in a position, I would want to pass that on to every child that I meet, and if I could do that, it would just fulfill me.
But think about this. It's one thing to want to pass on music to children.
Yes.
It's another thing to want to pass on music to children that are not able to see. I mean, that's a special calling.
Yeah.
That's a unique calling. That's a calling that demands tremendous fortitude. What brought you to it?
It's, I always felt that everything I learned as far as music, when I hear a piece of sound, or
right.
I can visualize it with my eyes closed.
That says a lot. It says a lot. I get it.
And I don't. I think.
Are you visualizing notes, or what are you visualizing? I know we're getting a little ethereal here, but it's kind of fun. What are you visualizing?
You just feel the distance between each note.
I got it.
And the texture. So sound has always been of interest to me. That's why I love languages. And
right. You speak 5 or 6.
Yes.
Very impressive.
So when I made that connection that if I had learned most of my music by sound, perhaps.
Well, you did, actually, because you're not taught.
Yes.
You play piano, guitar, and ukulele, and have had how many lessons?
So far, I just took 1 year of piano lessons
Okay.
because of the academy.
But
actually.
other than that, you're self-taught.
Yes.
So obviously, sound. Is it an oral learner? I mean, you learn by hearing.
Yes. Things just clicks to me. If I hear something, I have to keep thinking about it.
So how have you translated your skill, your talent, to help those that can't see? The only way they can learn is through hearing or touch, presumably.
Yeah. Well, for me, I start because I'm not professionally trained. I figured
that's okay.
I will teach young kids,
right.
Get them excited about music. And ukulele is a very manageable instrument.
It is. One of our actually producers loves ukulele. You'll have to meet him sometime.
It's one of those you don't even need to need to know much, you know. So as I was learning it via YouTube,
Right.
thankfully, these
Perfect.
days. I found a way to sort of, simplify it so that any child, sighted or not, could learn it. But more, I felt that, well, if I have this skill, I wanted to be able to work with children that are underprivileged, and this connection somehow just made sense.
Now, let me ask you about your students.
Okay.
Look, there's a mythology out there, and I don't know if it's mythical or if it's actual, that when one loses a certain sense, either from birth or otherwise, other senses become more keen.
Yes.
Do you find that your children in the academy who are not sighted, that maybe their touch is a little more sensitive, their hearing is a little more sensitive, and they actually can become quite capable musicians?
Absolutely. I feel like they have a sixth sense, because
sixth, right.
sometimes I would sneak into a room to grab an instrument and I forget to identify myself, but it's almost that my presence in the air, even if I'm tiptoeing with no sound,
you're there.
they can sense it.
So do they know it's you?
Sometimes
I wonder, because you probably have a certain walk, that makes a certain sound
or
that we would
scent.
never, or
Yeah,
sense
yeah.
too. Absolutely, we all have that.
So everything is definitely more heightened, and I think because of that, their focus at a very young age
Right.
is amplified. Children, if you try to teach them piano at a young age, it's quite a challenge.
Right.
So what the main ingredient is focus, and to have them be interested. So I think with blind children, it's not necessarily that, because they're blind, they can learn music a lot better. But I think because it is one of those things that they connect to
I
on a
understand.
very deep level.
Right. I would presume that if you are not sighted, sound becomes.
Yeah.
It's your life.
Yeah.
It's your connection to the world.
Right.
And music, like you said, is so textured.
Yes.
And so layered and so deep.
Yes.
So what a gift in some ways.
Absolutely.
So tell me about how you deliver the gift and what I guess I'll say it this way, if I may, what you see when those children realize their acquisition of music has occurred.
Well, for me, I joining this academy 2 years ago, I am completely amazed when students come in the first or second month, immediately, aside from their musical progress, we see their confidence level.
Right.
It's almost that they feel a very safe sense, a connection, and I think more importantly, the connection with music, but the connection with other blind peers
Right.
that are trying to hone this skill and learn this skill together.
Any future Stevie Wonders or Ray Charleses in your classes?
Well, we definitely have incredible talents.
Right.
6-year-old that can sing like Andre Bocelli.
You're kidding.
We have a Gavin Stevens. He's performed the national anthem at baseball stadiums, and he lights up. He's got such great control on his voice. We've got, just all our students play multiple instruments. So it's not that they're just good in one thing.
Right.
It's almost like it's the same language with different accent. And because they've taken the time and have this ingredient and resources and specialized instruction at our academy, they really flourish. And
I'm inspired by what you're doing. There are 2 locations currently, one in Reseda in the San Fernando Valley, one in Whittier in the San Gabriel Valley.
Yes.
Maybe more online to come. What's your website?
it's www.ouramb.org.
We'll put all the information on the screen. And thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for finding us. And thank you for what you're doing for the children and presumably adults who may not be able to see, but they can sense that music inside their hearts. You're a special lady. Her name is Khim Teoh. She is with the Academy of Music for the Blind. My name is Brad Palmer. This is Charter Local Edition.